Hi, my name is Leila Aziza, your favorite traveling dancer, and welcome to In the Pocket Montreal edition, where we explore different dance styles to learn more about how they're making moves in their community. Today we're on la rue Saint-Denis in the beautiful metropolis here at La Petite Marche to explore, drumroll please, la jig. La jig, also referred to as Québécois step dancing, is a rhythmic, percussive dance adopted by French-speaking Canadians and influenced by the wave of immigration from the British Isles during the second quarter of the 19th century. Performed solo or as a duo in front of a group, la jig is practiced at what are called des veillées, which translates to evening gatherings. These lively parties group folkloric musicians, dancers, and callers to create a community-driven tradition rooted in togetherness. Trad has a long history in Quebec, and to give us a glimpse into this vibrant dance community is educator, performer, speaker, choreographer, and full-time jig aficionado, Yaëlle Azoulay. Yaëlle has been sharing her knowledge and passion for la jig through her various roles, always driven by her desire to strengthen connections through the power of dance. I need to know, Yaëlle, how did you get into this? How did you get started?
It's quite special for me because it was not a family affair at all. It was not like my parents are, into trad and stuff. No, not at all. They're immigrants, and so they have nothing to do with the Québécois traditions. And so they just put me into this folk dance group in Laval, Les Pieds Légers, and that's where I just started to learn like a lot of folk dances from all over the world. And there was, of course, part of it was Québécois dances. There was social dances, and then at some point you learn jig. And then this came, and it was like it's a percussive dance, and it was all about rhythm, and it was like creating some beats. And then I really there was something in me that went like, ooh, I love this. This is tricky. It's intricate. It's technical. It's a social experience. It's based on that. And I mean, traditional dance all over the world, the way it's lived, it's through the people, and it's like a mix of the people and the territory you're on, and it's just party and gatherings, and it's all about party, right? It's like the best places you can jig and play music, it's parties, so it's like that's why I think it's a nice community. It's a party community.
I read that you're also a caller. So please tell me more about the role of a caller, what they bring to the party.
Yeah. Jig is nice, but it's a solo performance, right? It's a bit different. Calling, it's just like, oh. And so you're basically in sandwich between the musicians and the people that are dancing, right? So you have the music behind you, and you're just like vibing with the music and sending it out to the crowd. Other calls for swing could be haute ta capine, puis swing la mandoline, puis haute ta cheval, puis swing la mandolin, swing la fort, fais pas mal dans le corps. Like all these things are all about the swing, right? So yeah, and then anything. Tout le monde par la main en refoulant moment, et puis dans le milieu, les femmes au milieu, les hommes par la gauche, changer de côté, puis revenez. On salue la dernière, on swing à la suivante, et puis swingez là, sur ce plancher là, sur ce musique là, assez swingé, et puis domino. Tout le monde chaud. So that's the end. Domino is always the end.
You're literally Eminem to me right now.
But that's the thing.
You're like Slim Shady to me. Why do you find that it doesn't have more of a space in popular culture in Quebec, where it's from?
Oh, that's always the big question, right? I don't know. I mean, it's a big historical thing. It's been on and off. It's been waves here in Quebec, depending on where nationalism is or where the sentiment of identity is for people here. So it's just hard, I think, for Quebec here to really be rooted in an identity because it's so young. It's young, and it's also very diverse, right? So yes, there's the Irish influence and the English influence and the French influence, and then there's the Scottish influence, and then there's the First Nations that are here, and then there's all the rest of the people, and the waves of immigration. They're really like, they started early in the history here of the country, so it's such a big blend of beautifulness.
The link between French-Canadian step dancing and Quebec's independence movement is grounded in the Quiet Revolution and the revival of traditional practices as a way to counter English-speaking Canada's cultural dominance. While not directly political, la jig symbolized Quebec identity in a divisive time in Canadian history. This has sparked discussions about how Quebec's uniqueness is recognized and highlighted within the larger Canadian context. But changes are afoot, pun intended, Since April 2023, a motion was unanimously passed to designate la jigue as a part of Quebec's intangible heritage.
It's been a mission to talk about it, to promote it, to say how amazing it is, but just because I love it, right? Not because of a political reason. I think right now it's beautiful because it's plural. Jigue is not just one thing, it's a million different things. I think there's just as many ways of doing jigue than there are people, and that's fantastic. It's a fun time to be in jigue, to be jigueuse. It's great.
So Yaëlle is about to teach me a few steps of la jigue. Is there anything I should know before we get started?
Okay, yes, a lot of things actually you should know. You can do this with any kind of shoes that you want. It's just don't sweat it. It's all about rhythm. And it's also, maybe you think it's all about the feet, but it's the entire body. So you gotta have your hips loose and your knees loose, and so you gotta get the balance going, right? So we're gonna go heel, and then you're gonna fall on your step. Then heel and fall. Heel, fall, heel, fall. Down, down. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. That's perfect. So you can do instead of but this time,
I can keep going! I'm without words. That was so fun, so contagious. I would keep going for hours. But I'll leave it to Yaëlle and the other jigueurs and jigueuses. My takeaway is that la jigue and the trad community are so deeply entrenched in what I believe Quebec society truly is: diverse, inclusive, collaborative, and as Yaëlle said it best, plural. As a dancer, I can understand why this would feel like an intimidating niche style to learn. Between the fancy footwork, live music and audience, and freestyling en français, where does one begin? My answer? With a heel toe and a bounce, and just by showing up to one of the many veillées being held in and around Montreal. Once you're there, you'll soon discover that what looks like a party with strangers feels a lot like family, because what really threads everyone together is not only their passion for la jigue, but it's how friendly everyone is, how they make you feel welcome, how it's so much about celebration. Need I mind you, we are a Monday night. I'm grateful to Yaëlle for having welcomed us so generously, and to La Petite Marche. And thanks to all of you for tuning in. This is In the Pocket in Montreal, where there are so many more dances to explore.